I'm Conrad Wetzel, and sitting down with me today is Lorenz Patscheider. Lorenz is from Zurich, Switzerland. He's visiting with his parents, whom you saw interviewed just a few moments ago. And we're sitting down today to learn about Lorenz and what his interests are, what his plans for the future are. Lorenz I met when his parents were visiting here in Urbana. His father had come to collaborate with a professor at this university, and it ended up they lived next door to us. And so that's how we have become friends, and we've become friends ever since. Lorenz, tell us something about yourself, where you live, and tell us about your schooling, tell us about your music, a number of things. Then tell us, of course, bring us up to date with anything that you would like to share with us. Just we'll freewheel it together.
Thank you, Conrad. Yeah, my name's Lorenz. I'm 19 years old. I'm coming from Milan in Switzerland, and I've been visiting Urbana-Champaign 10 years ago. I attended half a year of elementary school here in King's School at Urbana-Champaign. And yeah, I've graduated 1 year ago from high school, and currently I'm doing a practicum in banking, and well, actually to determine where my interests are and in what direction I want to do my studies in college. And as Conrad mentioned, I'm very interested in music. And yeah, I'm happy to be with you here, Conrad.
Yes, right. Let's talk about your music. I think that's something people are often very interested in. And we have, why don't you share about this CD?
Well, yeah, that's my first studio album I released this August. It's called Nightman in Color, and features 12 rock songs and approximately 1 hour of music. I recorded this during the last 2 years with 2 friends of mine, and it was a very long and exciting process for me, and I had some of very good moments in doing this record. And yeah, I'm real passionate about music.
Are you playing guitar in this recording?
I'm playing guitar, yeah. 2 friends of mine are playing the bass guitar and drums, and I'm doing the singing and guitar, a little bit of clarinet, and some synthesizer programming and space effects and all this funky stuff. Yeah, it's maybe not so classic rock music. It's going more in the direction of maybe Pink Floyd. You may know.
Yes,
and
many people know Pink Floyd.
Yeah, it's going kind of in this direction.
Lorenz has given me DVDs previously that I've had, and my wife Martina and I enjoy putting them on every now and then and listening to your voice across the miles.
Yeah.
Tell us about your secondary education, what you liked studying in high school.
Yeah, in high school I basically enjoyed many things, which is also the reason I'm not studying right now, because I'm interested in very many fields. Maybe the 2 things I like most are science on one hand, and on the other hand I was also interested in economy. My interest in economy comes from the point to making a good idea, being able to have success in the modern world. This is kind of the basic interest I have in, and the actual interest is maybe more in a field like science, in a similar field like my father is working in nanotechnology, something that really interests me. And I'm now having some experience some experiences in the working world. So I've got more kind of an imagination how working later on will be, so I can go to my studies more focused, knowing that I can do something good in that field.
There's both experience and education are important,
Yeah,
but they complement each other.
exactly.
The more experience you have, the more you get out of your education, and the
Right.
more educated you are, the more you get out of your experiences. So you're certainly engaged in
Yeah,
that, aren't you?
that's a good way to say it. Yeah, absolutely.
I first met you when I was working at the Amish Museum, and your parents came in, and I saw that they were from Zurich,
Yeah,
and was surprised that you ended up living next door to us in
Yeah.
Urbana.
that was a surprise for both
Yes.
of us. Yeah.
So oftentimes I would come home from work, and I would hear you calling my name across the,
Yeah.
the parking lot, and we would spend some good times together with doing many things.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Let's talk about your music. When I first knew you, you primarily played clarinet,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
and I really enjoyed listening to you play your clarinet.
Thank you.
You're quite skilled at that. And I would sit at the piano, and you would play your clarinet, and we'd have a good time together.
Yeah, that was a really good time. Yeah, I can confirm it.
And your work with guitar is something that developed later, so I haven't yet heard you play the guitar. I've had your DVDs,
Yeah.
and I've enjoyed them. And so I'm eager to hear more about that.
Yeah, sure.
We'll have to see if we can get hold of a guitar and have you, maybe we can borrow one from a friend
maybe,
and
yeah.
so on,
Yeah,
have
that
you
would be
play
great,
for us
of
while we're
course.
here. Now, what are you doing during this time right now again, between your high school graduation and when you go to work?
Well, you mean my work right now at
Yes.
the banking practicum?
Yes.
Yeah. I also had a practicum in science, actually in this field of nanotechnology. I was working in Germany for 2 months in the city of Aachen at the university, and was experiencing actually a similar kind of science my father is doing, and I found that very, very interesting, very complex and wide, and you have to know a lot. But I really enjoyed that too. And then there was some time left in this half year to do some music. Then I started my bank practicum this March.
Now, during that interim time when you were doing music, were you doing it with some friends?
Of course, yeah.
Tell us about that group.
I just had a concert 1 week ago back in Switzerland with a friend band of mine who is also playing rock music, more maybe modern rock music, and influenced also by metal. And we both share a common interest in progressive music. So I go for jam sessions quite often with them, and this is very inspiring. Of course, music doing alone music can be a very good thing, but I think the most joyous experience is to have the interaction with other people making music, and you can really get a wonderful time out of that.
That's good. Yes, music adds a lot to life, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
As does any form of art.
Of course, yeah.
Now, you've gotten into the field of banking, and you're currently having an opportunity to work in that field. How's that going for you?
Well, it's a huge amount of just life experiences I'm having in my banking job, because it's basically the first time I'm doing a real proper job as a proper employee, and there are so many different days in my job there. Maybe the thing I like most at working at the bank is that you've got so much to do with people, with your clients. I really enjoy that. Maybe working at the counter of a bank is not the most interesting thing you can do in the world, in my opinion, but having so much to do with people is really a thing I enjoy to do.
Now, in addition to being, you've worked as a teller there at the counter, so you meet people.
Exactly.
And some people are easy to meet, and some people are a little bit grumpy.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
But you have to be friendly to all of them.
Of course, yeah. That's a good thing to learn. I think you can use the skill in basically every situation of life, because it's not only at the counter, it's all everywhere.
That is right. But then tell us the other things you do at the bank, in addition to being a teller, which almost everybody has experience with from the end of a customer. But what are some of the other things you do in banking?
I've worked there for the last 6 months, and since September I'm in a new division of my bank, and I'm having some insight into asset management. And
I think people might not have caught that word. We say asset.
Asset? Okay, okay, I see, yeah. So I now know that we say it the wrong way in Switzerland. That's good to know, yeah. Asset management, I'm sorry. And the mortgage we are doing at the bank. And of course there are many interesting things to learn about. You've got very much interaction with the things that are going on in the world, politics, with the raw materials. Are they cheap or expensive? I think in this field you can go very much into depth, and that's also the reason why I think it's kind of interesting, yeah.
In many ways, we can think of money as the token that is the sort of the intermediary or go-between between something that I have or something that I want, something you have or that you want, and money becomes the medium of exchange.
Yeah, sure.
And before there was money, people often traded. And we still speak about the Board of Trade. That word trade still is. And when I was a boy on the farm, we lived near a small village, and we would take our cream and eggs into the village store, and we traded for groceries.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we still, when we go just out to buy clothing, say, well, let's go do some trading today.
Yeah. Well, and I think this is also the reason why people, many people are interested in trading. I think trading is not the thing I'm most passionate about, but it's got some kind of originality. Yeah, if you
and you
compare
have to know it. You have to know it for your field.
And it's a really basic thing human people do.
And it's interesting. Every culture has had a form of trade. And as you study history, as you study cultures, one thing that is really interesting is the way they worked trade.
Yeah.
And when people first came to this country from Europe, the early colonists, they traded with the Native Americans. And it's an interesting field.
Yeah.
Now, are you thinking of this being a lifetime profession, or is it just your doing it now to learn as one of the options that you're still young, so you can
Yeah.
change your mind many times?
Sure, yeah. And that's also good to know, but I think, to answer your question, no, I don't think it will be the profession for the rest of my life. I think to get this profession, there have to be some more years to be going by. I guess for later on, I maybe rather tend to go somewhere in the field of science, because the basic things you were doing there, I think there is more room and more how should I say, styles of application of the things you do there. As my father mentioned before, you can make motors more efficient. You can look that the cover of your cell phone doesn't get scratches so fast. And I think such things you can just do just a lot with knowledge, and that I think is one of the very beautiful things about science, which makes it working there. And of course, I'll continue my music, and who knows, maybe there's an occasion to do this professionally. I don't really I go actively to make this my profession, but there are many things happening in life. Maybe in 10 years I'm a professional musician, who knows.
And it's not unusual for people to combine something like music,
of course, yeah,
with another profession.
Sure.
They do both.
Sure.
And perhaps that'll be the way it is for you.
Maybe, yeah.
But that's fine, you know. You're capable of doing several things.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, sure.
Tell us something about what you like about the part of the world you live in. What do you like about where you live?
And the thing I like about Switzerland maybe is that it's a very diverse country. We've got various kinds of landscapes within maybe 30,000 square miles, which is an exciting thing,
Yes.
as you maybe can imagine. You don't have to travel such a long distance to come to a different kind of place. And I think that is of course nice, is that we get such a good establishment of education and the working world. I guess it's a quite good place to work in. And maybe coming back to the United States after almost 10 years, I'm experiencing much joy for the open-mindedness of the people here. That's maybe a thing we're rather lacking in Switzerland compared to the United States. And there are quite some things when I came back here and I thought, oh yeah, that was so good 10 years ago.
Did you enjoy being in the high school here?
I actually wasn't in high school here. I was in elementary school.
Elementary school,
at
yes, I'm sorry.
Martin Luther King School in Urbana. I absolutely enjoyed it. I had a very good time with the people there. People are so friendly here. So if you're coming from a completely far away country and you haven't been talking in English before, it's very easy to get into the life here, you know, and that's really a nice thing. And I think it was a good school with very respectful people.
Good.
It was a good time for me, yeah.
I understand that Switzerland is actually can be thought of as divided into 3 language groups.
Yeah.
There's a group where French is primarily spoken. You live in the one where German is primarily spoken.
That's true, yeah.
And there's one where Italian is the primary language.
Yeah.
How many languages do you know that have had some experience with? Can you speak some of these other languages? A little French, perhaps?
Well, yeah, I can, yeah. I think if I would be traveling in France, I could. to get on there, you know. But I'm maybe not the professional French speaker. I maybe in foreign languages I really prefer English, because there's so much you're using it so often. But I can speak French, yeah, I do.
Formerly, French was thought of as the international language.
Yeah, yeah.
And the diplomatic language. And of course, recent years that has changed a lot. English has become, in many respects, the dominant world language.
That's true, yeah.
So it's good that you know English as well.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, and basically everything of my English, maybe 90% of my English comes from this 5 months stay in Urbana when I was aged 8. So that's really the best thing to do for learning a language.
I remember some of the ways that you were learning to speak English during that time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it might be also funny for you.
Yeah. What are you finding enjoyable about your visit to Champaign-Urbana this time?
Well, what I enjoy is that all those memories I have from that time are very accurate. So it's yeah, it's very good to come back here, visit the place you lived, visit the school you were going to, the university. Yeah, it's. I think it's what I like is what everybody likes, coming back to a place you like to live in. And I'm very often thinking of Urbana, so it's nice to come back here. Yeah.
Yesterday we had an occasion together to visit the art gallery.
Yes, we did, yeah.
And what are some of the things that you enjoyed there at that particular art gallery, the Conrad Art Gallery?
Well, I enjoyed things I generally enjoy in consuming art. I'm interested in the way people see the world, and I think there's maybe no better way to express this as in doing art. And in my opinion, it doesn't depend if you are doing music like I do, or if you're doing a painting, or if you're doing a film. And we were looking at a Chinese art exhibition of Chinese artists, and they are doing artwork about their origin country, and I think it's very an immersive thing to watch those artworks. It really gives you kind of the feeling they have about their own country. For taking this example.
Yes, that current show of Chinese art was quite engaging, quite interesting.
Yeah.
I also enjoyed again seeing the Laredo Taft huge statue.
Yeah, that was a very impressive sculpture. Yeah, I haven't seen one like this before. Absolutely, yeah.
We still have a few moments. What are some things that you think of that you would like to mention? Either about yourself, your family?
There are plenty of things to mention. Maybe coming to my music. Yeah, as I mentioned, I'm very passionate about this. Back when we were living in Urbana-Champaign 10 years ago, I was also making music with you, Conrad.
Yes.
This was also a very beautiful experience for me. I think making music with people all over the world is a very satisfying experience for people.
Have you had occasion to get acquainted with the folk music of various countries in Europe and so on?
Well, not so much. More with my own folk music, with Swiss folk music.
Yes.
Until maybe the age of 12 or 13, I was mainly listening to Swiss folk music. This was also the reason why I started to playing the clarinet at the age of 7. The clarinet is a very typical instrument for Swiss folk music, and yeah, a lead instrument of Swiss folk music, which maybe get me to play this. And then when I was 12 years old, I developed an interest in the music of Pink Floyd, the 70s era of rock music. And so with 14 I started to playing the guitar. And who knows what I'll be listening to in the next years. I also started to play a bit of the bass guitar, a bit of drums. I actually really love to experience the different instruments, because in one way you can express the same things in just a different way, and that's what's beautiful for me in playing various instruments.
You know, there's something very good about being a soloist, but there's also something very good about playing with others, making music together with other people.
Absolutely.
Music is sort of an international language, isn't it?
Oh yeah. That's absolutely my opinion, yeah. Yeah.
Your plans for the future, you're right on the brink of a big change in your life. And all of your education up to this point has kept your mind growing and expanding, learning more about the world.
Yeah.
And now you will have to eventually narrow that again in a way to focus on one particular thing. We can't know everything. We'd like to know everything, but we can't.
Absolutely.
Be specialist in everything, but we can take something and do it well. And knowing you, I know you will do it well.
Okay, thank you.
When you were a child visiting in our home, you would do different kinds of artwork, and you were always very meticulous about it.
Okay, yeah, that.
And
I might be so, yeah.
I'm quite sure that will always be the case.
Yeah.
And that you will do well in the field that you choose, and that's good. But you're enriched because you can do other things as you wish. Yeah,
sure, and maybe to a kind of proper daytime job, you can also have very much fun in doing maybe music aside, sports aside. I think it's also important to keep kind of a balance in your life. Yeah.
You mentioned sports. What sport do you like?
Well, I like various kinds of sport. Maybe mainly soccer. Of course, that's a very popular kind of sport in Europe, and so it is for me. And I like to do tennis. I was in a tennis club for many years. Right now, I'm not, but I'm thinking of going back because I really enjoyed this kind of sport. Yeah. Very good.
And you have friends with whom you can do these things.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, I forgot to mention that, but yeah, of course. How living without friends? Yeah, sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, they enrich us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Certainly do. Lorenz, I'm very happy to have you visit here with us and to sit down for this interview today.
My pleasure.
So thank you very much.
Thank you, Conrad. Thanks.
And, good. So go well.
Thank you. You too.
Sitting down with us today has been Lorenz Patscheider from Switzerland, sharing about his experiences here in Champaign-Urbana about 10 years ago, and now coming back for a visit with his parents, and what his future work is outlined to be. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Conrad.